The problem we have is basically implementing the constitution and leadership. I remember when this government came into office, and I think it was Obed who said, or who was wondering how a government that came in with a lot of euphoria, with a lot of excitement, just 2 years ago, has lost, all that goodwill. Of course, my response to that is that itself was a problem. Previously, we had governments that campaigned mostly on tribal issues, anti-Raila, sentiments, came into office and nobody bothered, what they promised. But these guys promised a lot. They had a lot of goodwill. The youth or the hustlers were promised so many things, and it was going to be a problem always, because those promises were going to be very difficult to fulfill. And they got impatient and they went to the streets. So the fact that they had all that, promise and euphoria and excitement was always going to be a problem. Now, once they came into government, the big problem for them was there was no fiscal space, number one. They inherited a lot of issues, especially debt-related issues, and then they refused to basically adjust. I remember having a conversation with a very, very senior person in this government, and when they came on board, we were discussing the Hustler Fund. So my question to the gentleman was, why are you going to basically waste 50 billion on this thing? We know it will have zero impact, as Nderi said. His response was very simple. He said, we know it has no impact. We know it is of no value, but simply because we promised a Hustler Fund, we've got to do it. And that's a big, big problem. Because once you come into government, I know you have a manifesto, but implementing your manifesto when you have no fiscal space was going to be a problem. So my suggestion to, of course, them was, you have to make adjustments. You have to now tell the people you promised all these things, guys, we have a problem. We've got to start with the basic stuff. So, stabilize the economy, deal with the macros. Basically, you can't do anything. So the good example I gave the gentleman, I'm not going to say his name, was, look, you have a huge pending bill of about 600 plus billion. This is money that belongs to businesses. These businesses are owned by individuals. These individuals support, people who have no jobs. So you have unemployment, a huge, huge unemployment, problem. Then what you've then basically done over the last 10 years or so is to take away the support that this youth had from their parents, because the parents owned these businesses that have been bankrupted by these huge pending bills. So what will happen then? What do you expect? These kids used to be supported by their parents. So their parents now have told them, my hardware shop has closed, my oil company is closed, my gas station has closed, please, kwenda uliza pesa Ruto. So that's why they've gone to the streets. So unless you reason, prioritize, redo your budget, then you're always going to have this kind of a problem. And this is why these guys have gone to the streets. So I see this as a problem that these guys have failed to see. They assumed business as usual, a kind of scenario, best case, and said, well, let's just do what everyone else used to do. They forgot that they were not elected the same way everyone else was elected, and they inherited a debt book that no one else inherited. So the failure to readjust, which was mostly driven by, chest thumping, and we know it, all, and we can fix it, and then boom, it exploded.